And here we go, another iPad fix. This is a 9th generation. We're going to change the front glass on this. This is a digitizer replacement. The LCD is still good. We are currently just going around the edge of this. You don't want to go in too far, about 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch. That's all the adhesive is all the way around. On the sides, it's even less. So you want to be sure to not, stick a blade in too far. I use a blade. Some people do not. They use something else. I like the blade. Process of getting this off for me, because I've done this so many times, takes about 15 or 20 minutes. Maybe slightly less, actually. Probably more like 10 to 12 minutes to get off the glass. It all depends on how badly cracked it is. So if it's really, really cracked, it takes longer. So the better, less cracked it is, the better it is as far as getting it off quicker. So if you're doing this and you haven't done a ton of these, don't worry if it takes you an hour or whatever. It's not a big deal. These are, you just have to be patient. Some of them are worse than others. This one wasn't so bad, except the bottom part was really cracked. So just pay close attention to that button area. Don't rip the little ribbon cable that's attached to that, and you'll be fine on this repair job. Once you get the glass off, the LCD, you'd have to be a little careful taking that out, because if you don't know what you're doing or you don't know how it's in there, you could break the LCD, and that's a $50–$60 part. Not crazy expensive, but still, if you're only charging, like I'm charging $99 to do this job, if I've got an additional $60 part cost on top of my digitizer, I'm basically losing money on the job. I mean, that would really put a big dent in your profit margin there. And just around the bottom, I just paid more attention than anywhere else. And this seemed to be glued pretty hard on the side there, so we just took our time. This one had never been fixed before. I can sort of tell when I'm taking it apart if it's ever been repaired before. And there we go, we got the glass off. And like I said, the home button area, that's what you got to be cautious with. I use a brand new bracket every time to re-glue it down. So my digitizers come with a new home button bracket. To be honest, I'll be happy when there comes a day that we never fix iPads with a button, because I still think they're a pain in the butt. So anyway, take this little bracket off, that old bracket, and I throw it away. It's got glass all over it, so I just toss it instead of trying to clean it up and reuse it. I like the ones that my digitizers come with. They help the home button click really nice and easy. And remove the flex cable there slowly with a little bit of heat and alcohol as your friend here. And just pull it back, and then I disconnect the battery before you disconnect anything from the main board. And then I put a little card in between the battery and the board. That way there's no current going through this when you're removing stuff. You can definitely blow something on the motherboard, like the backlight fuse on this model, if you don't disconnect the battery, especially if you've got a full charged battery. Go around the edge. I've got a little knife. I use a little alcohol, and we clean up the edge really nice so that the new screen lays down easy. So that's pretty much all you got to do there, but you got to go around. It takes about 3, 4, 5 minutes. Just go around, clean it up, make sure there's no old glue, and then plug your digitizer back in, plug your LCD back in, take and put your battery screw back in, and the clip down at the bottom with the 3 screws. And then after that, there is 4 screws that go in the LCD part, so make sure you obviously put those back. You'd be surprised. I've opened up iPads from other shops and they don't put those screws back. They don't put the battery screw back, they don't put the clips back, and what happens is the battery will get disconnected, or the LCD gets disconnected, and they think their LCD's broken or their iPad's damaged, and it's just because they failed to put the brackets back. And it's easily, if it's just laid on a counter or anything, the LCD could pop right off. So that's why you want to put that back. But I've always went by the motto, if Apple puts it in the phone or the iPad, that you should probably put it back. If it's there for a reason. So we always put back everything that's inside of the devices. It's just something we've always done. And winding up here, once we get this in, I tested this before I ever sealed it, and you want to do that because you don't want to seal an iPad and then have to completely redo it because you've got a digitizer that's a bad part, like touching on its own or something like that, which doesn't happen often, but it can happen. So digitizer is basically that glass piece you see there that controls the touch of the iPad. So the whole touch, that controls the whole touch. And if it's bad, then you'd have to redo it, with a different part. But I don't seal it unless, and I always check the button there to make sure it clicks really well. Kids are really rough on the buttons. If you don't glue the buttons in really well, they will be back in a day or two. The buttons came undone, the button came undone. And it still happens even to me, even though I glue them down with the Jaws of Life. Kids are just really rough on iPads sometimes. And with the food and everything, they get sticky and kind of gross sometimes. We seal this up, we're going to clamp it. I'm going to retest it again real quick first though, but then make sure the button still clicks. And we clamp them when we get done, just like we do for the back glass on iPhones if you've seen some of my other videos. But everything works on this and it's all set. Another one good.